Chosen one, let me ask you something straight from the Spirit. Have you ever been in a situation where all eyes were on you, expecting you to break, to fall apart, to retaliate in the flesh? But instead, you handled it with such grace and spiritual power that it left people speechless. Has there ever been a moment in your life when you felt the weight of the world pressing down on you, yet something within you, a divine force, rose up and carried you through with strength you didn't even know you had? If that sounds like you, then this message is not only for you, it is about you. This right here is your confirmation. And believe me, it's not a coincidence you found this video. It has arrived in your life right on time, just when you needed it, because this is going to shift something deep within your spirit. Chosen ones, you already know this journey isn't for the faint of heart. You've been through the fires, not once, not twice, but so many times you've lost count, and yet you keep rising. People have tried to trap you, slander you, discredit you, provoke you, but when the moment came and they were waiting to see you explode, waiting to see you collapse, you shocked everyone by how you handled it. That's not by accident. That is what happens when God's message lives within you. That is the result of walking with divine discipline. That is the power of someone with a divine calling. This is the rise of the chosen, and if you feel this message resonating in your soul right now, I want you to type 777 in the comments and let the universe know you've received it. This isn't just entertainment. This is activation. What you're hearing isn't coming from a man. It's being channeled straight from the Spirit for those who have ears to hear and hearts ready to rise. You're not like the rest, and you never were. That's why they couldn't understand you. That's why you've been misunderstood, attacked, excluded. The world doesn't recognize the chosen one until the anointing speaks for itself. And trust me, it will always speak through action, through the way you carry yourself when spiritual warfare surrounds you, through the calmness you show in the eye of the storm, through the way you respond when people try to pull you out of alignment. They don't know what it took to reach that level of control, peace, and spiritual clarity. But they're starting to realize now, and they're shocked. This video is going to reveal to you exactly why people were stunned by your response. And more than that, it's going to teach you how to keep walking in that power. Because this isn't the last test you'll face. Spiritual warfare is ongoing. But when you carry the essence of God's message within you, you become untouchable by the schemes of the enemy. This is about knowing who you are. This is about understanding your divine calling. This is about standing firm in your anointing as a true chosen one. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel right now. Tap the bell icon so you don't miss another divine revelation, and share this video with someone else walking this path. You don't know who needs to hear this today. You don't know who's one message away from remembering who they really are. Chosen one, this is not the time to hide. It's time to rise. And today, we're going to look at exactly what happened, why people are still talking about the way you carried yourself, and how to prepare for what's coming next. Stay with me. This message will transform your spirit. Who are the chosen ones? Chosen one, before we get deeper into the situation that left people shocked, we need to first answer one vital question. Who are the chosen ones? Because unless you understand your true identity, you'll keep walking around with divine power buried inside you, never unlocking it. The world may have called you strange, too sensitive, too intense, too different. But spiritually, you were always marked. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to stand out, not for vanity or fame, but because God placed something within you that separates you from the rest. Chosen ones are not self-appointed. They're not made by titles, by religion, or by public opinion. They are handpicked by the Most High before they even entered their mother's womb. They carry a spiritual frequency that can't be replicated. When you walk into a room, even those who don't understand why can feel something shift. That's not charisma. That's divine energy. That's spiritual weight. And that weight is why your life has never been easy. It's why you've always felt like an outsider. It's why people have tried to block you, betray you, silence you, because the enemy could see your light even when you couldn't. You, chosen one, are a spiritual soldier. Your path isn't like others because your purpose is higher. Your mission is to carry God's message through your life, not just your words. That means enduring tests, walking through storms, facing darkness, so that when others are watching, they can witness how a true child of the Most High handles it. The chosen ones are vessels. We go through so others can grow. We are wounded healers. People don't even realize how many battles you fought alone, how many nights you've spent crying in silence, how many times you had to rebuild yourself without applause or support. And still, here you are. You've likely questioned this path many times. Why me, God? Why do I feel so much? Why do I see through people's lies? Why do I feel drained around the wrong crowd? Why do I keep getting tested? That's not paranoia. That's discernment. That's the price of carrying spiritual wisdom. That's the mark of a chosen one. And once you accept that identity fully, you begin to see the patterns. You begin to understand that nothing in your life was random. Every betrayal had a lesson. Every loss was a setup. Every delay was divine protection. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. Chosen ones are born with gifts that the world often misunderstands. Some of you are prophetic. Some of you have healing energy. Some of you can walk into a room and know the truth without a single word being said. That's not arrogance, that's spiritual vision. And when you begin to walk in your calling, people start to notice. Not everyone celebrates it. In fact, most will fear it. That's when the warfare intensifies. That's when the enemy tries to attack your mind, isolate you, confuse you, or break you. But here's the truth. You were built for it. God didn't choose you because you were the loudest, the strongest, or the most popular. He chose you because he knew you would survive the crushing and still love, still forgive, still shine, still lead. Being a chosen one isn't about living a perfect life. It's about rising again and again after each spiritual hit. It's about letting your scars speak louder than your words. It's about living in such alignment that your existence becomes a testimony. You are not ordinary, and that's why you've never fit into ordinary spaces. You don't belong in gossip, in chaos, in shallow conversations. Your spirit craves depth. Your soul wants truth. And when people see how you operate, especially in adversity, they're either drawn to you or triggered by you. That's the paradox of being chosen. You inspire and unsettle people at the same time. That's because the spirit in you convicts what's false around you. So before we break down the situation that caught everyone by surprise, remember this. You didn't handle it well because you were trained in a classroom. You handled it well because life, pain, and spirit taught you. Because when you're chosen, your classroom is the battlefield, and you've been passing spiritual tests your whole life, quietly, faithfully, while no one was clapping. But now, the time has come where your growth is no longer hidden. The world is beginning to see. And the situation you just faced, it was never just about the moment. It was about revealing the truth of who you are. Welcome to your awakening, chosen one. You are about to see why your story had to unfold this way. The situation unfolds. Now let's get into the moment that made people stare in disbelief. The situation that revealed your spiritual strength in a way that couldn't be ignored. It didn't start off big. It started subtly, like most spiritual attacks do. A comment here, a betrayal there, a small misunderstanding that slowly turned into a storm of judgment, criticism, and manipulation. It could have been at work, in your family, in your community, somewhere where eyes were watching, somewhere where people assumed they knew who you were but didn't understand who you were becoming. And then it escalated. Suddenly you were the topic of conversations you were never invited to. Accusations started flying. People began drawing conclusions without ever asking your side. Lies spread like wildfire. Friends turned into spectators. Support turned to silence. And those who once smiled at you began to watch with folded arms, waiting, expecting you to snap. curse, to defend yourself in anger. That's how most people would have reacted, but not the chosen one. When the pressure hit its peak, instead of lashing out, you paused, you prayed, you breathed, you remembered who you were and whose you were. And that moment of restraint, that calm within the storm, that shocked them, because they were certain you'd react in the flesh. But you didn't. You responded from the spirit. People don't realize what it takes to stay calm when everything in your body wants to scream. They don't understand the level of spiritual maturity it requires to stand in peace when your name is being dragged through the mud. They couldn't fathom how you weren't breaking down, how you didn't stoop to their level. But you knew. You knew you were in the middle of a spiritual test. You knew this wasn't just about reputation. It was about elevation. And you weren't about to fail. What they didn't see was what happened behind the scenes. The tears you cried, the nights you stayed up in prayer, the heaviness you carried silently. While they were watching for your fall, heaven was watching your faith. And when the dust settled and the accusations lost power and people started seeing the truth for themselves, that's when they were stunned. Because you didn't just survive the attack, you rose above it. This is the part that confused them. You didn't retaliate, but you weren't passive. You didn't fight with flesh, but you didn't shrink back either. You moved with wisdom. You spoke only when spirit led you. You held your peace, but not out of fear, out of strategy. And when the time came, your actions spoke louder than any defense you could have given. That kind of strength doesn't come from this world. That's the strength of a chosen one. That's the grace of someone walking in divine alignment. And that's what made people say, I didn't expect them to handle it like that. Because you weren't supposed to come out looking stronger. You weren't supposed to keep your dignity. You weren't supposed to smile after that storm, but you did. And here's the hidden truth. Many of them didn't want to see you rise. Some wanted that moment to define you, to damage your name, your peace, your path. But instead, that very moment became your confirmation. It exposed false friends. It deepened your faith. It showed everyone watching that you weren't just talking spiritual. You were living it. This is what happens when the rise of the chosen begins to manifest in real life. People see it. They feel it. And even if they don't say it out loud, they know there's something about you that isn't average. And from that moment forward, they treat you differently. Not always with love, sometimes with fear, sometimes with distance, but always with respect. So let it be known, you passed the test. You handled the situation with honor, with clarity, with the kind of authority that only comes from spiritual maturity. And now, doors are opening, energy is shifting, and those who tried to tear you down, they're being removed from your story. If you've ever gone through something like this, where you had to rise above drama and chaos without losing your peace, I want you to type 333 in the comments. Let the other chosen ones know they're not alone. You didn't just survive. You taught the world what divine discipline looks like. And this is only the beginning. Spiritual warfare, the invisible battlefield. Chosen one, what you just went through wasn't just a personal attack. It wasn't just drama or bad luck. That situation was a direct strike in the middle of spiritual warfare. And unless you recognize what was really happening in the spirit realm, you'll keep misreading the battles in your life. You must understand this truth. Your life is not ordinary because your calling is not ordinary. And the warfare that surrounds you, it's happening in the unseen, in the spiritual dimension where angels and demons, light and darkness, truth and deception are constantly at war. See, most people respond to chaos with emotion, with ego, with the need to prove something. But you, chosen one, are called to respond with spiritual vision. You were targeted because you carry something powerful. God's message, His vibration, His energy. And anything that threatens the kingdom of darkness will be attacked. The moment you said yes to your divine calling, you painted a target on your back. But here's the thing. your protection was activated too. Spiritual warfare doesn't always look like demons with horns. Sometimes it looks like people suddenly turning cold. Sometimes it looks like delays, closed doors, random attacks, confusion, betrayal, or isolation. The enemy is subtle. It will use the people closest to you. It will use your past wounds. It will trigger your deepest insecurities just to shake your alignment. The battlefield is not out there. It's in your mind, in your emotions, in your spirit. And the enemy's goal is to pull you out of character so that you disqualify yourself from the elevation that's waiting for you. What you faced wasn't just about the moment. It was a setup to see if you'd react from your old wounds or from your healed wisdom. That's the test. Will you defend yourself, or will you let God vindicate you? Will you retaliate, or will you rise? Because chosen ones don't fight like the world fights. We fight with stillness. We fight with truth. We fight with obedience to the Spirit, not reaction to the flesh. Ephesians 6 tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in high places. That means your enemy isn't the person lying about you. It's the Spirit working through them. And when you recognize that, you stop wasting your energy fighting shadows. You learn to rise above, to respond with discernment, and to let your silence become your strongest weapon. In that moment, when you were under attack, you didn't just choose peace. You chose warfare. You chose spiritual maturity, and that disarmed every plan of the enemy. Because the devil doesn't know what to do with someone who refuses to step out of alignment. The devil expects anger, retaliation, pride, gossip. But when you remain in truth, when you guard your peace, when you speak only what God tells you to speak, you become unstoppable. And let's be clear, spiritual warfare isn't something you escape from. It's something you're built for. Every battle you faced was training. Every betrayal was sharpening your spirit. Every loss was preparing you to carry heavier anointing. This walk isn't for everyone, but it's for you, because you've proven that you don't fold under pressure. You pray under pressure. You discern. You listen. You trust the timing of God even when your flesh wants to fight back. That's what separates you. That's why you're chosen. You've probably felt that heaviness before. The sudden anxiety before a breakthrough. The tension in your body before a major decision. The moment where everything around you seems to collapse, but your spirit tells you something is being birthed. That's warfare. And the more aligned you are, the more aware you become. You start to see through people's words. You start to notice when something feels off spiritually. That's your gift in action. That's God elevating your vision. So when you shocked people with how you handled the situation, what they didn't know was that you weren't just being calm. You were doing battle. You were protecting your frequency. You were preserving your calling. You were keeping yourself spiritually clean while others were drowning in chaos. And heaven took notice. Don't underestimate what that did in the spirit realm. Your restraint shook the kingdom of darkness. Your silence was a thunderclap. Your peace sent confusion into the enemy's camp. And now, the shift has begun. The warfare didn't stop. It elevated. But so did your power. So did your awareness. So did your authority. So, chosen one, remember this. The next time you feel under pressure, it's not just an attack. It's an opportunity. An opportunity to prove you're ready. An opportunity to show heaven that you're walking in full obedience. An opportunity to break old cycles and step into a new dimension. This is what it means to be truly chosen. Not to live without warfare, but to conquer it every time with God's strategy, not your own. You're not just a survivor. You are a spiritual warrior, and the battlefield, it bows to the one who knows they've already won. Divine strategies. How the chosen one responded. Let's go deeper, chosen one. The way you responded during that moment wasn't just maturity, it was strategy. It was divine wisdom in motion. Because while everyone expected you to explode, to clap back, to fall apart, you moved like someone who had already seen the end from the beginning. You moved with the kind of authority that only comes from walking closely with God. And today, we're going to break down exactly how you responded. and why it sent shockwaves through the people around you and the spiritual realm above you. First, you paused, not because you didn't have a reaction, but because you knew your reaction could cost you everything. That pause was the space where God could speak. You didn't rush to explain yourself, to defend yourself, or to attack back. You took a moment, and in that moment you shifted the atmosphere. That one breath, that one decision to stay calm, was the first divine move. Then you aligned. You remembered who you were. You reminded yourself of your identity as a chosen one. You didn't let the noise pull you out of your position. That's key, because so many people lose their blessings by stepping out of character just to prove a point. But you understood that the enemy's goal was not just to hurt you, but to drag you out of spiritual alignment. And you refused. That's power. Your third move, you discerned. You didn't react to what was said. You looked beyond the words. You recognized the spirit behind the situation. Whether it was envy, manipulation, projection, or fear, you didn't make it personal. That level of discernment is rare. It means you've been trained. It means your spiritual eyes are open. And because of that, you didn't waste time fighting the messenger. You dealt with the message spiritually. Then, when the time was right, you responded, not with rage, not with ego, but with truth. You chose your words carefully. You said only what needed to be said, and nothing more. And even in your silence, there was power, because people could feel the shift. They could feel that you weren't shaken, and that made them uncomfortable. That's what divine strategy looks like. You weren't reacting, you were leading. You also forgave, quietly, privately, not because they deserved it, but because you refused to let that poison live in your spirit. That was another divine strategy. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's spiritual intelligence. You knew that holding on to offense would anchor your energy in the past, and you have too much purpose ahead of you to be weighed down by yesterday. So you released it, and in doing so, you created space for new blessings to enter. Finally, you established boundaries, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You didn't continue relationships that were spiritually draining. You didn't allow repeated access to people who showed their true intentions. You understood that love doesn't always mean access, and that sometimes the most divine thing you can do is protect your peace. So you moved on, gracefully, but firmly. This whole response, this entire process was divine strategy. It was heaven coaching you in real time. And those watching, they had no idea what you were doing, but they felt it. They saw the difference. And that's why they were shocked. Because in a world where people are quick to attack, to expose, to defend, you moved like royalty. You moved like someone with heaven's backing. And here's the best part. Your response wasn't just about that moment. It was a seed. You planted something powerful in the spirit realm. That restraint, that clarity, that grace. It opened new doors. It shifted timelines. It elevated you. Because when you respond like the chosen one you are, God promotes you. He vindicates you. He blesses you in front of those who tried to curse you. You may not have seen the reward right away, but trust. It's coming. The promotion, the opportunity, the restoration. It's all attached to how you handled that moment. And the more you continue to operate in divine strategy, the more you'll start to see your life unfold with supernatural precision. So keep moving with purpose. Keep listening to the Spirit. Keep shocking the world, not with noise, but with peace. Because your power isn't in how loud you speak. It's in how clearly you align with your divine calling. This is how a chosen one moves. This is how the rise of the chosen truly begins. God's message decoded. Chosen one, now that the storm has passed and the dust has settled, it's time to sit with the deeper meaning. Because everything you've just experienced was not random, and it wasn't just about how you handled it. There was a divine message being whispered beneath the chaos. God speaks through situations, not just sermons. And what you went through was one of his loudest messages yet. You see, the reason you were targeted wasn't just because of your light. It was because of your next level. The enemy doesn't waste resources on someone who isn't carrying something valuable. That situation you just passed, it was confirmation. Confirmation that you're no longer who you used to be. Confirmation that you're ready for what you prayed for. Confirmation that your spirit has matured into leadership. The reason people were shocked is because God used your composure, your silence, your stillness to reveal something far greater than words ever could. God's message in this moment was about revelation, revelation of the truth not just to others, but to you. He wanted you to see how far you've come. He wanted to show you that the healing you did in secret was real, that you're no longer triggered by what used to shake you, that you've developed spiritual roots so deep that no storm can uproot your peace. This wasn't punishment. It was proof. Proof that you're not reacting from trauma anymore. You're responding from wisdom. That shift is everything. The other part of the message is about elevation. Every time you pass a test in silence, heaven opens a new door. God is strategic, and he often places promotion on the other side of pressure. You thought it was about defending your name, but God was watching to see if he could trust you with more. More influence, more authority, more responsibility. You proved that you could be trusted, not because you fought, but because you surrendered. Because you stayed aligned even when the world tried to pull you out of your position. God also revealed who was truly for you. That situation exposed false alliances, hidden jealousy, and silent observers who were secretly hoping you'd fall. Don't be bitter about the people who walked away or remained silent. That silence was divine. It cleared the path. It showed you exactly who could go with you into the next season and who had to be left behind. God used conflict to create clarity, and now you see things for what they really are. Another part of God's message was about humility. The old you might have sought revenge, might have wanted to shout your truth from the rooftops, but this version of you knows that vindication belongs to God. This version of you doesn't waste energy proving points. Instead, you let your fruit speak for itself. That's the language of elevation. That's the posture of a true servant of God. And perhaps the most beautiful part of God's message was this: you're not alone. That battle wasn't just about you, it was about all the chosen ones watching your life from the sidelines. People saw you and were inspired. They watched your grace and were reminded that there's another way. Your life became a sermon. Your stillness became a signal. And without even knowing it, you gave someone else permission to rise above their own storm. This is how the divine works. Nothing is wasted. Not your pain, not your tears, not your restraint. Everything is part of the message. And now you walk away not just with survival, but with wisdom, with clarity, with power. So receive this truth. The situation wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to declare you to the world, to yourself, and most of all, to heaven. Practical guidance for the audience. Now that we've decoded the spiritual side of your situation, let's bring it down to earth. Chosen one, this journey isn't just about recognizing the signs. It's about being prepared. You need tools. You need discipline. You need spiritual strategy for the next test, because it's coming. But this time, you'll be ready in a way you weren't before. First, build your stillness. You can't hear divine instructions in chaos. Take time every day, even 10 minutes, to quiet your mind. No phones, no distractions, just stillness and presence. That's where God speaks. That's where your spirit recharges. Make it a non-negotiable. Your peace is your power. Next, sharpen your discernment. Ask God for the ability to see the spirit behind the situation. Not every smile is friendly. Not every voice carries truth. Before reacting to anything, pause. Feel the energy. Pray for clarity. Discernment is your spiritual eyesight. Without it, you'll keep fighting the wrong battles. Third, stay rooted in truth. Have a few scriptures that you return to in hard times. Repeat them, write them, speak them out loud. The word is your anchor in the storm. When lies come, whether from people or from your own mind, you need truth ready to fight back. Keep God's message close. It's your daily armor. Forgiveness is not a suggestion. It's a weapon, not for them, but for you. Holding onto offense blocks your blessings. It clouds your judgment. Let it go, quietly. No announcements needed. Just release it. Make room for what's next. You are not here to carry bitterness. You're here to carry purpose. Set clear spiritual boundaries. You don't owe access to everyone. Protect your energy. Protect your peace. Don't explain. Just distance yourself from what drains you. That's not pride. That's wisdom. You can't pour from an empty spirit. God has too much planned for you to be spiritually exhausted all the time. Also, stay alert. Not paranoid, but spiritually aware. Sometimes the enemy will circle back through familiar faces, familiar habits, familiar tests. Be watchful. Don't fall into old traps. You've grown. Act like it. Move like it. Stay consistent in prayer. Keep your vibration clean. Your consistency will keep you in alignment. Lastly, create space for restoration. This walk is heavy. Take care of your physical body. Get enough sleep. Eat well. Move your body. Rest is not laziness. It's spiritual maintenance. Even Jesus rested. Your body is a temple. Keep it strong. Keep it clean. Keep it sacred. Chosen one, these aren't rules. These are tools. You're not just surviving anymore. You're stepping into leadership, and leaders move differently. You don't get to react like the world. You move with purpose, patience, and power. That's the mark of the truly chosen. Keep growing, keep listening, keep walking the narrow path, because what's ahead of you is far greater than what's behind you. And now, you're fully equipped. Rise of the chosen, future path and empowerment. Chosen, one, you've passed through the fire, and you didn't just survive. You were transformed. You've seen what it means to walk through spiritual warfare and come out stronger. You've proven to yourself and to the world that you are not here by accident. You're here on assignment. And now, it's time to rise. Not just individually, but collectively. There's a shift happening. You can feel it. The rise of the chosen isn't just a phrase, it's a prophetic movement. Across the world, people like you are awakening. People who felt out of place their whole lives. People who've been through silent battles, private suffering, unseen growth. And now God is calling all of us to step forward, not in ego, but in truth. Not to be worshipped, but to lead others to Him. Your path now isn't about perfection, it's about responsibility. People are watching how you live, how you forgive, how you speak, how you respond under pressure. And you're not meant to be perfect, but you are meant to be consistent. Keep showing up, keep speaking truth, keep walking in the Spirit, even when it's hard. The world is starving for authenticity, and your story, your real, unpolished, raw story, is what will awaken others. Don't hide it. Don't minimize it. Your past wasn't a mistake. It was a setup for your ministry. You were broken to become a blueprint. And now, it's time to lead. Empower others. Pour into those coming up behind you. Share what you've learned. Warn them of the traps. Remind them of their identity. You are not in competition with any other chosen one. We rise together. The more we unify, the stronger the frequency, the brighter the light. Start small if you have to. A conversation, a post, a prayer, an act of service. It's not about having a platform. It's about having purpose. And your purpose has always been spiritual. That's why nothing else ever satisfied you. That's why worldly success felt hollow. Because you weren't made to fit in. You were made to lead transformation. And know this, the path ahead won't be easy, but it will be divine. You'll still face battles, but now you face them prepared. Now you face them as someone who knows exactly who they are. You don't walk alone anymore. You walk with the authority of heaven behind you. The rise of the chosen is here, and you're part of it. Step boldly, speak wisely, love deeply, walk humbly. The world will remember not just how you survived, but how you led. You were born for this. Now it's time to live it. Closing blessing and final call to action. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this powerful message, I want you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath, feel your spirit settle, and realize what just took place. This wasn't just another video. This was a divine encounter, a message that was destined to reach you at the exact moment you needed it. Because God is never late. His timing is always perfect. And if this message found you, it means heaven has something to say to you right now. You've been through a lot. You've endured situations that would have broken other people. You've carried pain in silence, walked through fire with no applause, and held your peace when you could have burned bridges. But through it all, you didn't fold. You didn't lose yourself. You didn't sell your soul to blend in or be accepted. You remained true to your spirit, true to your growth, true to your divine calling, and heaven took notice. Let this moment be your reminder that nothing you've been through was wasted. Every tear, every betrayal, every disappointment, it all led to this version of you, the version that's wiser, stronger, and spiritually sharper than ever before, the version that doesn't need validation to know they are chosen. You carry God's message just by existing, just by walking into a room. Your energy shifts the atmosphere. That's not arrogance. That's spiritual identity. That's divine alignment. So let me speak this blessing over your life. May every hidden seed of obedience you've planted in private now bear fruit in public. May those who plotted your downfall witness your divine rise. May your peace grow deeper, your wisdom grow stronger, and your spirit grow bolder. May the next doors that open in your life be doors no man can shut, and may you walk through them with your head high, knowing you are not walking alone. God is ahead of you, beside you, and within you. May every chain that has tried to hold you back, fear, doubt, guilt, rejection, be broken right now in the name of divine authority. May your soul remember that you are a warrior in the kingdom, and your steps are guided. You are not born to shrink. You are not born to conform. You were born to lead, to awaken, to ignite, and may you now walk in that purpose with clarity and courage. I bless your mind, that it may stay sharp, clear, and protected from confusion or spiritual fog. I bless your heart, that it remains soft enough to love, but wise enough to guard itself. I bless your path, that it may be filled with divine appointments, divine protection, and divine provision. And I bless your voice, that it speaks truth with power and never wavers in the face of intimidation or mockery. You are a light in this world, and no amount of darkness can overcome it. Chosen one, this is not the end of your journey. This is a new beginning, a spiritual rebirth, the start of a higher path, a more focused walk, a more impactful mission. The way you handled that situation didn't just prove who you are. It revealed where you're going, and you're going higher, into greater responsibility, greater influence, and greater divine favor. But with that comes a greater level of spiritual discipline. So stay prayed up, stay in the Word, keep your energy clean. Don't fall back into old habits or old crowds. You've outgrown them for a reason. Your future requires a new frequency. Stay there, protect it. This message wasn't just a lesson, it was an activation. And now I ask you to walk with intention. No more playing small, no more hiding your gifts, no more letting fear silence your voice. The world needs your light, and there are people assigned to your calling. People who are waiting for you to fully step into your role so they can be set free. Don't keep them waiting. The time is now. If this video has spoken to your soul, if something shifted in you while listening, I want you to comment 999 down below to seal this moment. Let heaven, the universe, and your fellow chosen ones know you're not going back. You're moving forward with fire in your spirit and divine purpose in your hands.